Good afternoon. How are you? Well, it's a little cooler. Thomas Jefferson says it's 47, but I think it's closer to 40 than 47. The humidity's 40%, so it doesn't look like rain. The sky's kind of clear. And the wind, however, is 6.4 miles an hour. Now, I want to thank you for suggesting what muffler I might use for my microphone. But my microphone is my telephone, and it's chosen because it's portable and it's self-contained, including any defects it may enjoy as a result of the wind. So apologies. I don't think we're going to have any trouble today, but I get a couple of questions about it, so I thought I should answer it. Now, Trump's $2,000 that he's going to give each of us, you and I, it's not going to happen by Christmas. So it'll be in the new year. Yeah, right. Trump is likely to send a check in the mail in the new year. And I don't know what you do with it. Is $2,000 down payment on the increased cost of everything because of his stupid-ass tariffs? It could be. Let's talk about another failure. In the Comey case, that's interesting, Comey case, the judge has been looking at how regular or irregular the proceedings were. And as you may recall, Trump dictated who the defendant should be, and Comey was one of those. And the judge has looked at the motion papers and what he's had of the grand jury practices and says the Department of Justice engaged in a disturbing pattern of profound investigative missteps. And what does that mean? Well, what he's saying is that the grand jury was not properly instructed as a matter of law by one of the prosecutors, and somehow or other there were privileged communications that were revealed to the grand jury that they shouldn't be able to consider. So the judges ordered the release of the grand jury material to the lawyers to inform his discretion on how bad this all is. Now, another punch in the face. Trump apparently he runs away from a fight when it's a fair fight. And when Congress and the Republican caucus on the House side said, we might have 100 signatures demanding to have access to the Epstein papers, he folds. He says, now it's okay. Yeah, they should have it. And so says the Speaker of the House, the Republican Johnson. Now, keep in mind that first he opposed the Epstein files being released. Now he's agreed to it, so hold on to your seats, because he'll find another way to oppose it downwind of where he is today. And he's doing it, no doubt, because he's on the wrong side of the power curve here, and he's losing control of the House. And given that this will not be the end of this fight, you can expect he'll give cause to the public generally and to the our representatives in Congress. I laugh because representatives is a joke. They don't represent us. They basically are studies in cowardice from the president on down. But there have been some Democrats fighting, and they're not fighting for Wall Street, they're fighting for us. And those we have to identify, and those we'll have to work with. I have a note, a personal note, about the underlying issue of Epstein. Last night, I thought it might be interesting to see a documentary which was titled Epstein, Filthy Rich. And Filthy Rich catches the feeling on so many levels. And I'm not recommending it because I didn't watch the whole thing. I think it was a series of 4 maybe. And I watched, about 2/3 of the first installment. And it was not graphic. It was done in a professional way, I guess. Meaning that it wasn't a movie that encompassed porn as much as devastation to young people and people who come from broken families and don't have money, and the scheme was, and this was focusing in Florida in the part that I was watching, not the island. He would pay $200 to someone for what was called a massage, and was much more intimate than that. And the then young ladies, now as adults, spoke about what that meant. And for the ones that were interviewed as part of an investigation, that's why they had tapes and papers and so forth about it. It destroyed these young girls, just destroyed them. Some were just, bumping around their whole life afterwards. And a couple even said, "My life changed on that day." Embrace those words. But here's another sad thing. They not only acted as predators upon young women, girls, but what they did was they recruited among these youngsters, 15 years old, to bring others for massages. And again, that's a weasel word that was more intimate and more offensive and involved the loss of virginity for these girls. If they were absolutely convinced, they couldn't convince one of these youngsters to do whatever they wanted them to do. That is what Epstein wanted them to do. They were paid $200 to bring other children to him. Now, I just couldn't watch it anymore. I mean, I've seen lots of things, but it wasn't the exposure, which they didn't show. It wasn't the exposure of the body or any of that, any of the kind of normal pornographic things. It was to hear these girls, now adults, talk about what it meant to them and how they didn't know what to do, and they found themselves in these situations, and they were being bought off cheaply or terrified, afraid to say anything. That's what's wrong with this. I don't care what party you are. I don't care what ideology you have. If you're doing this to children, you should go to fucking jail. Pardon my F-bomb. There's just no excuse for it, and there's no tolerance for it. And every day that Trump changes his mind again and seeks to delay and avoid the disclosure with some bullshit reason, we push back. Because this can't stand in America. This cannot be who we are to the world. But that is who Trump is, and he should be out of that office, and he should be in a jail cell for the rest of his damn life. So, it says something when Trump, in his most recent turnaround, says, "I don't care," meaning he doesn't care about the disclosure of Epstein. Well, he sure does care. This guy denies the truth so much he could never recognize maybe anymore what is true because he lies so much. He's probably self-hypnotically involved in his own delusions and craziness, given his ill health and the people around him who are yes men and women who think desperately this is their way to power. Sort of like the children were bought off for $200. These people are bought off with a little access and a cushy office and promises of more power to come. Wake up. The legacy you leave is going to haunt you down the thousands of years this republic will remain and thrive despite your efforts to destroy it. But he does care, and you know that he'll have plans, alternate plans B through Z coming. But we have, in the meantime, Representatives Khanna, the Democrat, and Massey, the Republican, to thank for shining a light into the dark corners and letting the roaches run out so we can see them trying to devastate what's best and virtuous about America with their evil deeds and concealing among wealthy men these practices, pretense that wearing underwear when they get the massages. I mean, these people are so full of nonsense. we have to scrub them from our government and start over. Representative Green, ironically, is saying she's under threat thanks to Trump. And she also said something else, and it'll be interesting to see if she's serious. She says she's felt she's been too harsh, and she thought this especially after the killing of Kurt. And I don't know that she means it. I do think she probably is afraid. I think she's constrained by her own limitations of ideology and intelligence, and a lack of actual caring, compassion, empathy for the people she pretends to represent. But we'll wait and see, because we can always engage in redemption. So her apologia for being so brutal in her rhetoric is the latest development on her side of the ledger. So if you're looking for something funny and amusing that really shouldn't concern us at all, is there are stories about Meghan Markle choosing a beige set of clothing for the Christmas season. I don't know. Am I only going to wear red and green for Christmas? Okay, well, I'm not going to wear a dress anyhow, not this year. And but this is the attack on Meghan. Are they just attacking her because they don't like her? I mean, I don't know. A royal family is hard for me to wrap my mind around because I consider myself a Democrat. So until next time, nice talking to you, and I return to my chilly Cathedral of Trees. Bye-bye.